Ukraine is concerned Putin will use decentralised digital money to get around the penalties, while Ukraine is using the platforms to raise much-needed aid, with over $55 million donated so far. It's the first big test for cryptos, which have universally been seen as riskier assets. Since the conflict in Ukraine began, Bitcoin is trading over 17% higher. I spoke to Caroline Bowler from BTC Capital earlier today. Caroline, can you just paint the picture? Can Russia use these crypto exchanges to evade sanctions to get around exclusions from SWIFT?
In short answer, no. Using blockchain technology, we're able to track back the wallet locations due to the transparency of blockchain. And with that, we're able to restrict and control the flow of assets in and out of all these centralized exchanges. We also then run all transactions against sanction lists from Australia, the US, the UK, and the UN. So in summary, no.
OK, so let's look at aid. Donations are pouring in through cryptocurrencies. How is Ukraine using this digital platform in the war?
Yeah, this is a very interesting point. The Ukrainian government has openly asked for donations to come in through the various crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as you've mentioned. And they've split it into two funds, one of which will go directly towards the military effort and the other towards the humanitarian. And in that, they've used one of their largest crypto exchanges in the country to help facilitate this flow. And what is interesting is, particularly on the humanitarian fund, 90% of the transactions are actually going through crypto. So the payment itself is being accepted in crypto as well. And one point with that is that will increase transparency, because we'll be able to see exactly where all those donations go and what wallets they end up in.
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because this seems as though it's quite a big test for cryptos, given it's being used in a wartime. What effect do you think this could have on the sector more globally?
Well, I think it's a real-life test case. I think, if anything, it's going to reaffirm the position that so many of us in the industry have held around its utility and function for humans, alongside what we already have with the fiat system, like the US dollar, the Aussie dollar, etc. So I think this is a real testing case. And I think, as we can see, cryptocurrency so far is coming through exactly as expected.
Do you think, as a result, we'll see global regulation of the sector?
I think so. Certainly looking at the noises that are coming out of the US in particular, there seems to be a chorus of voices calling for greater regulation of the asset class. But they're coming at it from perhaps a more negative point of view. They're still caught up in the idea of Russian sanction evasion and using it as a bat to beat it with. However, if you look at what the Europeans are doing, they have their markets and crypto assets legislation sitting waiting to be progressed, and they've been working on that for a couple of years. And the head of the ECB, Christian Lagarde in particular, has pushed forward for Europe to do something with this regulation, to get it in place, so there is something for the centralised exchanges such as ourselves to base it from. And certainly if you look at the Ukraine in particular, they themselves pushed through regulation only at the end of last year, specifically around the regulation of cryptocurrency. So I definitely think it's something that we here in Australia need to be looking at very, very closely.
We know that when you look at the graph, Bitcoin is up around 15% since this conflict between Russia and Ukraine began over the last week. It's usually seen as a riskier asset with huge fluctuations in its price. What's going on now? I mean, surely it's not a flight to safety.
Well, what's interesting there is the fact that it is a global currency. And so for the Ukrainians in particular, who are transferring their native dollar into other cryptocurrencies, it means no matter where they are in the world, they will be able to access their money, and as such as it is in crypto. So that's a really important point, because they don't know where they're going to end up. Right now, we've seen over 600,000 Ukrainians have left the country as refugees. So it's really important for them that they're able to carry their value, their cash, their savings with them. So I think what instead we'll see is the greater stability, perhaps in the price of Bitcoin in particular, throughout the rest of this crisis.
Caroline Bowler, great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.